The saying goes that a woman should always keep her head, heels, and standards high. But if you're not as comfortable in a pair of sky-high heels as you want to be, there's actually a class for that. Today I'm here at the LEGWORK Walking in High Heels workshop, and I've got shoe designer Victor Chu here. He's the man who's perfected the method for walking in heels. Now Victor, you've had an interesting transition from designing shoes to teaching people how to walk in them. So why don't you tell us about your career before you were dubbed the Stiletto Whisperer?
Sure, I was a shoe designer before, and so I designed for Reebok, Tommy Hilfiger, and Uggs. And so during that time, I was designing women's shoes, and I realized that there was a big problem with women wearing heels because all my lady friends were blaming me for their high heel problems. I kept hearing these reports about women actually tumbling down the stairs of subways and breaking their legs. And then after they would get their cast, they would still be wearing heels. So, you know, New York women are very particular about their heels, and they always wear the heels. So you almost feel naked or not as dressed up without heels. And so I looked into it more, and then that's how this was created, is that I met some Rockettes and Broadway dancers, and they actually have a very grueling and high performance way of training for walking in heels every day, and to be able to, you know, dance and perform in heels during the whole 3-month season that the Rockettes perform. So this exercise is to strengthen your ankles. If you find yourself with wobbly ankles, or you want to wear pumps without the fear of toppling over them, this is what the Rockettes and the Broadway dancers do every day when they wake up, when they're on the train, when they're brushing their teeth. They do it all the time, and it's literally doing the ABCs all the way to Z with your toe, with your big toe. So what you have to do is just kick out your foot, and then with your big toe, draw each letter of the alphabet. So you A, B, Z.
Oh wow, that's really tiring.
Yeah, it's actually a good workout.
This is actually something you could do at your desk. So as a guy, it's a pretty safe bet that you've never actually walked in a pair of heels.
No, I haven't.
So how are you able to develop a routine and exercises that will help women?
Well, so I worked with these dancers, and one in particular, Kylan Brady, and she was a Rockette, and she danced for many, many years as a Lion King dancer and performed on Broadway for a long time. And so we'd worked very closely on developing the fitness part of LEGWORK, and then also the walking in heels class as well. So so what it turns out is that we actually broke down the class into 3 basic steps that women can learn as far as how to walk properly in heels without injuring, and then also with grace and control. Okay, so the first part of the class, very first tip to keep in mind, is good posture. And in order to get good posture is to engage in your abs and then shoulders back. And then with ladies with long hair, keep the long hair behind your shoulders. So if you want to turn to the side, you want to engage your abs and then have your lower.
Pulling them in.
Exactly. Like you're flexing them.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And then you should feel it. You should grow a little taller actually. And then your lower back should be, you know, pinched in, and then shoulders back, and then your hair is back, which is great. So what this helps with is if you have any pain in the balls of your feet, it'll counterbalance your weight back onto your heels rather than pushing all your weight onto the balls of your feet.
Okay.
So this is exactly what it's doing, and it's also preventing back pain. Let your hair help you, you know, balance.
And then it'll help you with your posture.
Exactly. That's great. That's great.
Okay.
There you go. That looks great. Yeah, don't be shy. You want to have your upper body out.
In elementary school, they used to say, pretend like you have a string here.
Exactly.
And then it should pull your whole body up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everything should cape up like this. I feel
Absolutely.
like the problem is in New York, you're somewhat looking down at the ground all the time.
So the way to deal with that is that look half a block ahead. I'll
you're
give you a little
step.
obstacle.
We're creating a heel obstacle course here.
So you have to avoid that.
Okay. While still looking forward.
While still looking forward,
Okay.
but you can't look down. you go. You didn't look down. It's not going to move, right? So
it's kind of like preparing for
yeah, if you
what's
look at
gonna be
exactly,
up.
yeah, you just
so like
look
I can
at
see it right now. So,
right.
but if I get over here,
yeah.
I can no longer see it, but I know it's going to be right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's say you've gotten your posture down. What happens next?
The walking in the heel and toe. So let's practice that,
Okay.
and then I'll teach you the third one, which will give you the more sexier and graceful walk.
So do I do a more exaggerated heel toe, or just keep in mind to make sure you step with your heel first and then to toe?
We'll do an exaggerated, and actually what I'd like for you to do is actually kick out your leg, take longer strides. You'll start to feel a good momentum once you get into like 5 steps into it. It'll start to feel easier, like you got a good momentum and a flow to it. Kick your legs out. There you go. Shoulders back. Look forward. There you go. Yep, longer strides. And it takes some practice, you know. That's why, you know, we take an hour for it to kind of feel okay. And so now what we're going to throw in is to relax in hips and knees.
Okay.
And this will give you more of a runway type of look. This whole part is to actually, instead of, you know, be too conscious of it, just to have more fun and relax and be more graceful.
So should we try that? Let's see you do it first.
Okay, I'm going to exaggerate it. So it gives it a little bit of a strut. I'm probably doing more of a guy version of it, right?
Right.
With ladies, with their different body shape, it's more feminine.
Can you show me the girl one?
The girl one, you want to, my butt isn't big enough, so I can't really quite get that shape into it. But yeah, you wanna.
Like what Tyra would do.
Oh, you would have to
She
do
does like
like
a
this.
very big leg.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
whole
exactly,
time.
exactly. You wanna, yeah. It's a little awkward for me, but I can't quite do it.
You're just letting yourself lean into the step a little more, maybe?
Exactly. You have your hips more into it.
Okay.
Exactly. Very nice. Yep. Heel to toe is very nice. That's good. And you want to go a little bit longer in the stride for the extra effect. There you go. Yep. Yeah, you got it. You've got a nice swing to the hip. Yeah, you have a great dress for it, and the shoes fit well, so you have a very nice walk. A lot of the times, we get the students who come in, they're wearing jeans, they've got shoes that don't fit, they're really worried about their shoes flying off. They never get to this point where they're able to relax and enjoy and have like a very graceful and you know, feminine, flowing walk.
Your class isn't only just designed to help women walk better in the heels that they already own, but also to make smarter choices when shopping for shoes in the future. So how can you tell by looking, you know, at a woman's shoe or her foot what kind of heels are going to work for her?
The pitch is very high, and then also the heel. Here's where the heel problem is, right? So the shoe should actually be more this size, right? It looks like her foot is so thin it doesn't even fit in the shoe right here. And then the heel is too close to the edge, so it goes, so actually where the weight of the shoe and the heel is placed is mostly at the back edge where your foot isn't even at. So the heel ideally should be right under the center of your heel, closer to fitting your heel. And then so this heel is actually ironically too thick, and then it's also coming from the edge of the back of the heel.
So this would not be a good shoe for me.
No, but let's see you walk in it, and
Okay.
I can also
All right.
see. Yeah, it's definitely too big.
It's almost like I'm going out like this, like
exactly,
trying to keep them on somehow.
Yeah, so I've seen this problem before too, where they're very narrow in the front and they're too tight in the front, and then they're loose in the heel. So then you have this really weird problem where they're too tight and they're too loose.
So this is a bad shoe. This is what I call a dinner shoe.
Okay.
Because you just wear them in and then you sit.
I would say get rid of both those shoes.